It wasn't the traffic that gave him away. It wasn't even the rehearsed lie he tossed out as he walked through our door. It was the glint of a familiar car in the background of a snap that told me exactly who drove him and who covered for him. Some betrayals don't scream, they smile. If you've been here before, you know the deal hit like. Subscribe. It's a small click that goes a long way. New here, glad you found this. Let's dive in. It wasn't the traffic that sold him out. It was a faint reflection in a live photo. My husband, Frank, looked annoyed, snapping a quick selfie from the passenger seat. Still stuck? He captioned, with a rolling eyes emoji. But behind his shoulder, faint but unmistakable, I saw the silver hood of Laura's car, my friendly neighbor, my jogging buddy, the woman who watered my plants last month when I visited my mother in Chicago. My heart went quiet, tightening like a fist closing slow. Laura, not an Uber, not a coworker. Laura, whose laugh filled my kitchen, whose favorite coffee mug sat in my dishwasher right now. She'd joke about swapping lives over wine, her eyes lingering on Frank when she thought I didn't notice. I sat at the dining table, my phone screen dimming as my pulse raced. This wasn't rage. It was sharper, deeper, a cold clarity cutting through the fog in my chest. Frank wasn't stuck in traffic. He was exactly where he wanted to be. And Laura, smiling, helpful Laura, made it happen. They pulled up to the house almost together, tires crunching on the gravel driveway seconds apart. Frank breezed through the door, tossing his keys on the counter. Traffic was brutal. He sighed, brushing a careless kiss on my cheek. Sure was, I said, flat, ignoring the slight tremble in my fingertips as I stirred my tea. Outside, Laura lingered by her mailbox, pretending to sort through envelopes, her eyes flicking toward our window. She waved when our gazes met, her smile bright, playing the neighbor role to perfection. The nerve of it burned under my skin, like a slow fuse hissing toward dynamite. The next morning, like fate had a sense of humor, Laura showed up at my door with an apology wrapped in kindness, a small paper bag from our favorite bakery. A gift disguised as thoughtfulness. Heard Frank got stuck bad last night, she said, her voice smooth, sincere. Saw him at that awful intersection on Oak Street. Poor guy. She offered an alibi without me asking, her pale eyes glinting with something hidden love, possession, hunger. I couldn't tell. It simmered between us, unspoken but unmistakable. Yeah, I said, meeting her gaze with the same steadiness, a half smile tugging my lips. Thanks for looking out. She smiled back, relieved, oblivious to the dark certainty crystallizing in my chest overnight. I wasn't angry. I was calm, dangerously clear. I had 2 targets now, and I'd take my time. By the weekend, my plan was in motion. I watched Laura walk back to her house, her ponytail swinging like nothing could touch her. She left the pastries on my counter like an innocent offering, but their sweetness tasted bitter now, each bite fueling something cold and quiet inside me. I didn't touch them. I left them untouched, deliberate, a symbol of how easily she thought she could play me. The next morning, I woke with absolute clarity, my breath steady. Yesterday's anger had cooled into something far more controlled. Betrayal was a knife, but revenge, done right, was surgery. No room for impulse, just patience and precision. Over coffee, I started assembling my silent arsenal: screenshots of Frank's traffic texts, Laura's unprompted alibi, the timestamp from his stuck-in-traffic selfie, The faint reflection of her car lingering in the corner of that live photo. Every piece was captured, labeled, filed neatly in a secure folder on my phone. Each fragment honed my resolve, like sharpening a blade for a clean cut. For days, I watched Laura, unsuspecting. I smiled warmly on our morning walks, nodded politely when she waved from her porch. My calm was unshakable, her ease a grim amusement. Every sly glance she shot Frank, every careful smile she thought went unnoticed, they tightened my grip. Added another piece to the puzzle I'd soon reveal. Frank played his part, too. Lying with the same careless ease, unaware each text, each excuse, gave me more ammunition. Every buzz of his phone, every glance he traded with Laura across our yard, felt less like betrayal and more like confirmation. My plan was as rational as it was inevitable. By the weekend, I knew exactly when and how I'd strike. The neighborhood barbecue was the perfect stage, the audience primed, gossip flowing as freely as the wine. Everyone would be watching, waiting for something to whisper about. They wouldn't be disappointed. That afternoon, tending my garden, I saw Laura chatting with Frank on their porch, their laughter carried across the lawn, oblivious to the borrowed time it rested on. She leaned into him, a smug little smile curling her lips. Enjoy it, Laura, I thought, calm as ice. Every smile, every moment, every lie you think you've hidden, it's all borrowed, because your husband's about to know exactly who you've been smiling with, and he'll know exactly who you've been covering for. The barbecue was 2 days away, and a deep, quiet thrill pulsed under my skin. Everything was perfect, right time, right people, right moment captured like pieces on a board. I'd moved from careful planning to seamless execution, never tipping off Laura, never hinting to Frank. My smile stayed calm, my eyes unreadable. At night, while Frank slept soundly beside me, oblivious to how close his world was to crumbling, I double-checked my evidence folder, every screenshot, timestamp, and message perfectly arranged. Laura's unprompted alibi sat at the top, her own words betraying her more cleanly than I ever could. I'd practiced the quick moves to airdrop the folder silent, untraceable, straight to her husband's phone. One tap at the right second, and it would all unravel. The morning days of the barbecue? I stood on my porch, sipping coffee, my pulse humming with anticipation. Laura waved cheerily, calling over the fence. "Ready for tonight, can't wait," I called back, marveling at how genuine my voice sounded, even to me. She had no idea what she'd done, no clue about the truth about to blow her world apart. She thought she was clever, shielded, safe in her secret feelings for Frank. But her ignorance was my greatest ally. That night, I dressed carefully, choosing an outfit that blended into the crowd, nothing suspicious, nothing memorable. Frank whistled when he saw me, carefree as ever, unprepared for the night ahead. I smiled softly, squeezing his arm affectionately. "Let's have some fun," I whispered, savoring the irony in my words. At the barbecue, everything unfolded like clockwork. Laura moved gracefully among the neighbors, charming and confident, her husband smiling beside her, unaware of the truth sharper than anything he could imagine. My hand tightened around my phone, knowing exactly how and when I'd strike. The perfect silence came, natural as breathing. Friends refilled drinks. Laughter paused. I stood near Laura's husband, smiling quietly as I triggered the airdrop, selecting his phone. My heart gave one hard, steady thump as the screen blinked, confirming the evidence was sent. The folder, labeled simply traffic trouble, was clean, precise. I stepped back, blending into the chatter like nothing had happened. Laura's husband glanced down, frowning as his phone buzzed. Confusion turned to horror as he scrolled through the undeniable proof. Laura, laughing carelessly a few feet away, her perfect, happy facade seconds from shattering. Everything fell into place, exactly where I needed it. Her husband stared at his phone, fingers frozen mid-scroll, disbelief hardening his face into stone. I watched from the crowd's edge, calmly sipping my wine, eyes locked on him like a silent director watching a perfectly staged scene. Laura noticed, her easy laugh shifting to hesitant worry. She stepped closer, a hand light on his elbow. "Honey, what's wrong?" He flinched, pulling away like her touch burned. "You lied to my face." "Laura, right to my face," he said, his voice sharp enough to cut through the polite chatter around them. Her eyes widened, panic darting toward Frank. My husband stood frozen, his charm gone, all his easy confidence drained. He stepped forward, mouth open to speak, but her husband's glare silenced him cold. "Don't," he said. "Icy, you've done enough." The neighbors' chatter dissolved into stunned silence, whispers spreading like smoke. Laura's polished facade crumbled visibly, her voice weak as she stammered a desperate explanation. No one stepped closer. No one rushed to help. They just stared, retreating into silent judgment, leaving her alone in her shame. I sipped my wine, slow, savoring the crisp taste of victory, a cold satisfaction blooming like frost in my chest. Laura's eyes scanned the crowd desperately until they locked on mine, the sharp, bitter truth hitting her. I met her horrified gaze evenly, letting a subtle, cold smile curve my lips, a silent message clear only to her. "Guess the traffic finally cleared before you go. Answer this. If you caught someone lying that smoothly, would you stay quiet or let them unravel themselves? Tell me in the comments. I read them all. And if you haven't yet, hit like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss what's next."